Are you confused by all the different views in Power BI? What does each one actually do? When you should use them? In this video, I'll walk you through each core view in Power BI. Report view, data view, model view, and the newer DAX Query View. Whether you're a beginner or looking to deepen your understanding, this is your complete guide to mastering the Power BI interface. Hi, I am Rishabh, a chartered accountant turned data analytics enthusiast. I help professionals and businesses make sense of their data using tools like Power BI, Excel, and DAX. And today, I'll show you how each view in Power BI plays a unique role in building powerful, insight driven dashboards. So let's get started. All right, so, so let's get started with the data. So we have this Excel file wherein we have the customers tab with the customer ID, name, email of the customer, phone number, city, first name, last name, and gender. Now we have the products tab, which contains the details of the products such as the product name, category, brand, ID, as well as the price of the product. We have sales tab, which contains the transaction ID, the quantity, the date of sales, the amount, the payment mode, product ID, customer ID, price, etc. Now we have inventory, which again contains further more details about the inventory, like the product ID, the price, etc., etc. So this is our data, and then we'll just go ahead and save it. Okay, so let's just open Power BI now, and we'll import this data into Power BI. So let's open a blank report. All right, we just click on Excel workbook, and then we navigate towards the data we have, and then it'll just take a couple of seconds since it's not a huge data. And then I will click on each of the tabs because I just want to import everything all at once. So I'm just here on load, and after a couple of seconds, it should be there. So there it is. Yep. So we on the right hand side, when we see, we have our data. Okay, now we have the report view, wherein we discussed in the previous videos that this is where you build your dashboard with various visuals, KPI, etc. Okay, let's come to the table view first. So we have all the tabs. It's basically sort of a read-only Excel version. When you come to the table view, it contains all the details regarding the, so here we have transaction ID, quantity, etc. And then we can see what format it is in, and what's the data type, and then we can make the required changes in the table view. So for example, if we go on quantity, we see it's a whole number. And if we want to put it, if you go to date, we see it's a date time format, but I want to put it to just a date format. So that's it. And then we can change the format to any of the format we like, or we can try a couple of things and see what works out best for us. So yep, we can go for the DMY or DDMMYY, anything. So there are a bunch of options which we can explore one by one and just basically see that, all right, okay, we have decimal number, and then we can we can explore this and come to a conclusion where it suits our needs. So yep. And then also focusing on the right hand side, we see that some of the columns have a sigma icon next to them. So that's basically for summarizations, and that will just appear on the numeric data that we have. Of course, we don't need to summarize text. We need to add up numbers. So bunch of options to play with. Okay, I changed the price to currency, and yep. So this basically sums up the table view that we have here. It helps us creating calculated columns and just getting a read-only view of the Excel. Now, next comes the model view. And this is a very important part that we need to discuss. It basically shows the relationship across various tables and various tabs that we have imported. So, for example, sales and customers, you will see that firstly, what happens is Power BI automatically establishes relationships with as per its intelligence that okay, customer ID, we have the same customer ID in the same sales table as well as on the customers table. Let me delete it for now. Let me establish fresh. So customer ID, I'll just drag and drop to sales customer ID, and it will select the columns, and it's a one-to-many relationship, and then we just click save. And that's how we have established a relationship, because yes, the customer ID and the relationship is a one-to-many because the customer ID will have just one occurrence of the data, but the sales table will have multiple occurrences of the data. And like one customer can buy multiple times, so the sales will have many, so that's a one to star, that's a one to many relationship. And that similarly we have this for inventory and products, similar way. So you see that from customer to sales it's one to many, from inventory to sales it's one to many, and from product to sale it's one to many. But for inventory to product it's one to one, because yeah, let's get back on the report view. So okay, let's assume I want to create a measure. Let's create a measure for total sales. So I'll just go ahead and write total sales, yep, equal to, all right, sum of sales. You can just copy the formula and you can pause the video and look at it. Mm. Okay, let's look for the KPI card, and we have created our measure, and we'll just drag and drop, and we see 1 billion total sales. All right, so let's just go to our Excel and see the total of our sales. So yep, when we look here we see 1 billion of total sales, but in the visual it's not appearing as the full number. So I'll just change the call out value from auto to none, and I have the entire number. Now let's just do the basic formatting. We'll go to data format, and then we'll just put it as a whole number, and then thousand separator would be on, and yep, here we have the exact number of total sales. So this is the report view. And of course, we have discussed the various charts and visuals in our previous video, so you can go ahead and check that out. Now let's come to the DAX Query View. This view helps us check measures without much complication. So for example, our total measure that we created, if we just click on evaluate, at the bottom it'll show us the 1 billion of total sales that we had. So, and it comes with various other options, such as okay, we can define, and then if we do it this way we can see what exactly DAX code we have written for our measure, and then there will be, again we have our 1 billion of sales. Now the advantage of this view is that you can check if you want to make some changes to the DAX measure. So ideally what happens is, okay, if you go to sales and then you see the payment mode, and there are various payment modes, but what if I just want UPI sales? So I'll just edit the formula and I'll make sure that I just filter it out, that filter the total sales out by just the sales which are made through UPI. So I'll change the formula, and then I'll just run the code, and we have here the amount of sales through UPI, and we can just cross check it from our Excel. We'll just go apply a filter, and then we'll just filter the payment method through UPI. And this is being done without making any alterations to the measure that we have created. This is just to check what if we update this measure. As we can see, okay, here there is no changes as of now, but we see that the say in the DAX query view, we have the sales through UPI. Okay. Now, if I can override this and update model when we go back to our report view, it'll take some time, but when we go back to our report view, boom, we see only the UPI sales. So this DAX query view helps us to test out different alterations, and then I can just go ahead here and change total UPI sales, and yep, we have it over here. So these were the basic views in Power BI. So there you have it. Power BI isn't just a reporting tool, it's a full ecosystem of views that support everything from data loading and modeling to analytics and visualization. Let me know in the comments which view you found the most confusing or useful. Like, share, and subscribe if you learned something new today. See you in the next one. Bye bye.